Hey, 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 boys and girls. It's me, Mr. Sanito, and I've got one of my plants from home I wanted to share with you. This is called an aloe vera plant, or no, wait, maybe it's just called an aloe plant. Well, it just says aloe, so I guess we're going to call it an aloe plant. And I used to have this at school, and then I had to bring it home. It was getting so big, and someone wasn't watering the plants at school. I don't know who I can blame for that. I don't know whose fault it was that those plants weren't getting watered. Oh, wait. I think that was my fault. Oh, well, I do have a book for you for today, and it's got a little something to do with plants. It's called This Year's Garden. Are you ready? Let's get right to it. Boys and girls, the book is called This Year's Garden. It's written by Cynthia Rylant, and pictures, the illustrations, are by Mary Zalagi. Mary Ziliagi. We'll edit that out. Anyway, This Year's Garden. Now, this book is about a family that grows a garden. I don't have a garden at home. I just have plants. Do any of you have a garden at home? Do you have plants at home even? Well, I wonder if you were to have a garden, what would you grow in your garden? A garden takes a lot of work. Let's read the book to find out about this family's garden. This year's garden. What do you see here? Do you notice all the vegetables? I wonder if these are the vegetables that the family grows in their garden. What vegetables do you see? I see carrots. Could those be tomatoes? Maybe pumpkin? Cauliflower? I'm not sure. Maybe those are pea pods. This year's garden. Do you see the people in the field? What does it look like they're doing? Do you notice all the vegetables? I see a lot of vegetables here. Now I want to point out on this picture, I don't know if you know what all of these items are, but these are some of the things that you might use if you were going to have a garden. So this would be a watering can. And of course you fill that with water, and then you can sprinkle the water over the seeds or the plants. Those are some seeds. You might wear a special kind of glove so your hands don't get dirty or they don't get hurt. This is called a straw hat. You might wear that on your head so your face doesn't get burnt from the sun. And these are some of the garden tools. I don't know what that one's called, but I know this one is called a hoe, and you kind of like dig at the ground with it. And this one is smaller, and you can still dig at the ground, but it's like a small shovel. So here we go. At the end of winter, we all go down and stare a while. Uncle Dean squatting and chewing on a weed to think. A garden after winter is a wonder to see. All brown stalks and black birds working. Quiet. Just brown and waiting for someone. Boys and girls, look at this garden. It's the end of winter. So I'm thinking, it might be March in our story. What do you think the weather is like at that time of year? March. Still cold. I don't see any snow on the ground though. And it's just beginning to warm up. Uncle Dean and Uncle Joe discuss what we'll plant this year, figuring on more potatoes, but fewer beans because Granny said she's not canning an army's worth of beans this year. Granny's getting tired of canning. We're all a little disappointed because we all like beans. And when the author talks about how Granny doesn't like to can the beans, that means canning is when you take, in this case, the beans and you prepare them and then put them in cans and seal them so you can eat them later. But it's a lot of work for Granny, and she says, no, I don't think I want to do that this year. We stare at the garden a while longer, feeling spring on us and ready to run for a hoe. And remember, a hoe is a garden tool with a flat blade and a long handle. It's that. Now, boys and girls, why do you think the family is ready to run for that tool? What do they want to start doing? Sounds like they're very, very anxious and ready to get started on their garden. But first, we have to wait for the rain to stop, for the ground to dry up, and the weather to warm up, waiting for the last frost. Now take a look at this picture. There's no words here. What is happening? Do you notice the weather? See all the rain. Has the weather changed? What's beginning to grow? And finally, close to June, we are planting. Boys and girls, it's almost June right now. It's May, but the next month is June. It says, and finally, close to June, we are planting. Wow. All of us bending, dropping seeds as we walk backwards while someone follows with a hoe. Wide straw hats bobbing in the garden. We are quiet in the heat, talkative when it gets cool, talking about picking some poke for salad, and will the tomatoes blight, and what about some eggplant this year? Oh, so they're planting the seeds, and then they're talking about what might happen after. We look a lot alike too. Noses and arms up to the sleeves sunburned. Purely white foreheads, those of us with hats. And fingernails just full of dirt. Oh, their fingernails getting full of dirt. Then, later in the summer, we have a garden full of vegetables and moleholes, beetles and big grass spiders. Late in the evening, the beagles run through crying after a rabbit or maybe a possum. Boys and girls, look at the picture. How has the garden changed since June? Does it look the same? It says that it is later in the summer. That could be, well, let's see, August, maybe? I'm thinking this might be August. Maybe September. Oh, and here are the dogs running through the garden. And what did it say they were chasing after? Let's see. It says the beagles run through crying after a rabbit or maybe a possum. So they're chasing after some of the animals. Look how much those seeds have really grown into vegetables. We hurry down to pull some carrots for company, or turn over potatoes to wheel into the cellar. That's like a basement. So what are they doing now? A few months have gone by, and it looks like they're doing what? They're picking the vegetables. Shucking corn, that means peeling it. Snapping peas, breaking them open. Stewing tomatoes, cooking them. And canning lids, popping so much we think we hear them in our sleep. So again, it looks like they're getting ready to put some of the food, at least, in the cans so they can save it for later. Ooh, look at this page. What do you notice on this page? What vegetable do you see a lot of over here? Do you see the pumpkins? Well, what month do we talk about pumpkins? That's usually October. So we've started at the beginning of the book in March, and now so much time has passed, we've gone through April and June and August. Now we're all the way in October with pumpkins. Oh, and look at what the kids are doing. They're making jack-o'-lanterns. And when the vines and stalks are empty, when the soil's all been turned, and it is blowing into winter, we sit with the neighbors and compare about who had the best luck with this year's garden. Outside, the garden's brown again. The crows are back, and we are, all of us, waiting for next year's garden. It's all over. The garden is finished. They've picked all the vegetables, and there's nothing left. Does this remind you of anything? It's now fall because the leaves are brown. At the beginning of the book, look, this is the end of winter. What comes after fall? Winter. See? All right. Why don't you go get your writer's notebook, a pencil, and some crayons, and we can do some writing. And I'll meet you back here in a moment. All right, boys and girls, do you have your writing materials? Let's start by writing the title of the book, This Year's Garden, at the top of a fresh sheet of paper. And of course, write your name. Put your first and your last name. Spell them both. And here's some questions to get you thinking about your writing. It says, if you had a garden of your own, what would it look like? What would you grow? How would you take care of it? Write 3 sentences to tell about your garden. Now, you might already have some great ideas about what you would like to grow in your garden. But if you're looking for some ideas, think back to the book. What are some of the things that you saw in their garden? I noticed a lot of different vegetables. But you don't have to just grow vegetables. In your garden, you might have some kind of fruit that you want to grow. So let me see if I can help you out just a tiny bit today. What would you grow? You might start a sentence like this. In my garden, I would and then you finish writing. Tell me what you would grow, what you would plant, what it would look like. How would you take care of it? Would you be out there in the field planting everything? Would you have your family help? Would you water your garden? Would you pick the weeds out? Would you collect the vegetables or the fruit when they're all grown? What would you do? And let me just see. I've got some words here. Oh, look at this one. Grow, of course. Garden. Take care. So that's a little bit of help. And then when you're done, draw me a picture of your garden. So if you're going to if you're going to grow pumpkins, maybe you're going to draw me some funny looking pumpkins. Or maybe you're going to do potatoes or carrots or corn or strawberries. You think about it. And then you write your sentences and then draw your garden for me the way you think it's going to look. I'm going to work on mine. You work on yours. Send me a picture in ClassDojo. I can't wait to see it. I'll talk to you soon, boys and girls.